Learning the game. Round net. With beacon. P coaches. Round net, also commonly known as spikeball, is a net sport. The game is played between two teams, usually with 2 players each. Players initially line up around a small trampoline like net at the start of a point. The game starts with a serve from one team to another, and teams alternate hitting the ball back to the net, and ends when the ball falls to the ground or an infraction occurs. Round net was originally created in 1989 by Jeff Nurek, inspired primarily by concepts from volleyball. Although the equipment he created for the game became outdated and lost popularity in 1995, the sport experienced a revival in 2008 when Spikeball Inc. began promoting it. The company manufactures equipment for the sport, and so Spikeball became a common name for the sport. Basics. Round net features elements from many other sports such as volleyball and Foursquare. The game is played between 2 teams of 2 people. Players are positioned at 4 points around the net, with partners located at neighboring positions. One player serves the ball across the net to the opposing team member. The opposing team then has 3 hits to return the ball to the net. After the serve, there are no boundaries of play. Participants are free to run, set, and spike the ball from anywhere around the net. Play continues until a team fails to return the ball or the ball hits a rim piece, at which point the point ends and the other team receives 1 point. Rules. Round net court, a serving circle with a diameter of 15 feet. The 3-foot net is placed in the middle, making the serving circle 6 feet away from the net. Also an example of how the teams are set up. The bouncing ball has a 12-inch circumference, approximately 3.8 inch diameter. Set up. Materials needed for round net include a trampoline, like net, and a small ball with a 12-inch circumference. Players line up in a square around the net with their partner to one side and a member of the opposing team on the other. Each partner is 90 degrees away from the next player. Before the point starts, players will always be across the net from an opponent and next to their teammate. Each point begins with a serve, usually done by the team who won the previous point. To determine who serves first in the match, teams will play a game of rock, paper, scissors, with the winner of the rock, paper, scissors game receiving the option to serve first or receive first. During the serve, all players who are not receiving the serve have to line up in their designated positions outside of 6 feet from their section of the rim. The returner can stand wherever they want prior to the serve. Once the ball is served, all players on both teams can move wherever they may like. After the ball is served, the possession is assumed by the returning team. Once the ball is hit and returned by the non-serving team and hits the net, the possession is flipped. This continues throughout the point, as possession changes whenever the ball hits the net. During each possession, teams have 3 hits but do not have to use all of their hits. To account for harsh sunlight, wind, or any other condition outside of the game, players will rotate serving positions 90 degrees every 5 points. Only a maximum of 3 touches are permitted. Serving. The first serve starts the game, and the setup is dictated by the first receiver. The server then stands directly across from the receiver, and only the designated receiver may receive the serve. To serve, the server must throw the ball at least 4 inches away from the release point to begin the serve. The first hit from the server should always be a gentleman's serve, meaning that the serve should not be used with excessive force, but rather with a friendly start to get the game going smoothly. The ball is not allowed to be interfered with during the serve. For each point, the server is allowed to serve to complete a legal serve. If they catch, swing at and miss, or drop the tossed ball, it results in a service fault. Servers must be behind the 6-foot line away from the net to be eligible for the play. The server cannot lean over the line in order to get closer to the net, and their feet and entire body must be behind the line until the ball is contacted. The server is allowed to take a pivot step, but cannot move further than a pivot. The server can hit the ball at any speed and direction, including drop shots. For the serve to be eligible, the ball must not go any higher than the receiver's raised hand. If the ball does this, the receivers must call fault before a second touch occurs or the ball hits the ground. The serving team will have one more try to serve it correctly, or they lose the point. When serving, if the ball hits what is known as a pocket, the area of the net that is right next to the rim, then the receiving team can call a fault and the server can attempt another serve. If the ball comes in contact with the rim at any point of the game while a player attempts to hit the net, that is a point for the opposing team. If a fault is not called, then the play continues. If 2 faults occur back-to-back, the receiving team is awarded the point and possession switches sides. If the serving team wins the point, the server must switch places with their teammate to serve to the other receiver. If the receiving team wins the point, they get to serve the next point, contacting the ball. Rules and regulations exist when the ball is in play. If a player contacts the ball on its trajectory upward, a soft touch can be made. A soft touch allows the same player to hit the ball a second time in a row if the first touch is on an upward path. However, this second touch does indeed count for 2/3 of the max touches by a team, and the next hit must go on the net. When a player is hitting the ball, no more than a slight carry is allowed by a RA. Any catch of the ball results in a point for the opposing team. If the ball hits the ground or the rim at any point during the rally, the play ends and a point is given to the other team. If the teams could not determine whether the ball hit the rim or a pocket, the play is replayed. When the ball hits the net, it must clear the rim for the play to be continued. If the ball hits the net again, a double bounce is called, and a point is given to the assuming receiving team. If during a rally the ball hits the pocket, the rally continues. Pockets are only a fault during serves. If the ball makes contact with the net and then proceeds to roll up into the rim, this is known as a rolls up. If this occurs during a service, the receiving team may call a fault and the service is tried again. If a roll up occurs during a rally, it is treated as a pocket, and the rally continues. Infractions exist even if a team does not have assumed possession. These are called hinders. These include if a defensive player gets in the way of the team going for the ball. It is required that defensive players make an effort to get out of the way to avoid interference. If a player gets in the way of the play, the opposing team must call it hinder. They will then be able to replay the point. The offensive team must have a legitimate reason to call hinder. If the defensive player makes an attempt to play at the ball, if they do not have possession, they lose the point. If a player hits a shot that hits off the net and hits either themselves or their teammate, they lose the point. If a player makes contact with the set, it results in the loss of the point. Even if the player hit a kill shot, they will lose the point if they touch the set before the ball makes contact with the ground. Scoring. Scoring in RoundNet is dictated by rally scoring, meaning that a team may earn a point whether they are serving or not. Games are usually played from 11, 15, or 21 points, but the tournament organizer can change that at his or her discretion. As is common with similar games such as ping pong, tennis, and volleyball, teams can only win by 2 points. This can lead to deuces and point advantages until a team wins by 2 points. Points can be scored in these ways. When the ball does not hit the net within 3 hits during a possession. The ball hits the ground. The ball hits the rim. This includes during serves. The ball does not bounce off the net on a single bounce, also known as a double hit. The ball must clear the rim of the net completely. There are 2 illegal serves in a row. The player hits themselves or their teammate with the ball after it makes contact with the net. Modified rules. In addition to the original classic way of playing round net, there are many variations that can be made to the rules of the game, some of which have become more and more popular. These modifications can add a complete different aspect to a simple game of round net, and in doing so transform the game as a whole. Adding extra aspects to the game allows for round net players to challenge themselves a little extra, and in doing so either increase or decrease the competitive aspect of such a versatile sport like round net. Some potential modifications include splitting the playfield in half, thus simplifying the game, only using one hand, or even forcing players to hold hands, greatly increasing the difficulty of the game. Skills. Many competitive teams and players master these for fundamental skills: serve, pass, digo set, attack spike, and the body block. These skills are standard practice for high-level advanced, premier, or pro division players.
Nakainan ng pwesto eh.
Oh, di ba?
Hindi, lapit mo yung dun.
Kasi suot din doon? Hindi. Ipa-modify. Uy! Tama ba yung coach?
That's what I said. I don't want to play it so hard.
Alright. We're going to learn this one. Oh, the touches. Cut! I'm free! Bad pass! Atras!
Ganun pala. Parang ito eh.
You know? Pakitin ko?
Rim point.
Totohanan to ah.
Point ka. 7-0.
Ano yun?
Pag dito. Mga ito. Malapit sa ano. Rim. Basta hindi ko sa'yo.
Bakit? Pag-ring.
Rim point.
Wow. Ah? In favor of?
Against him.
Pag-ring. Pag-packet. In favor of?
9 seconds.
Kinakabaga. Tama na. 3:30 na. Hey, say bye-bye. Hello. Bye-bye.